Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfalla.
And Ray Alfalla is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello and welcome to the Radical Racing Challenge live on Apex Racing TV. We're here at Barcelona for week 6 of this championship. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick, and alongside me is Alessandro Dalzoni, Mark Tranter operating the cameras. And Alessandro, this place certainly divides opinion. It has got a remarkable knack for really having dull races, but if any series is going to be exciting around this circuit, it is going to be the Radical Racing Challenge, because we've seen some absolute stormers tonight so far this season, and hopefully we'll have another one tonight.
Absolutely, I think we will have a very nice race also this week. It's unfortunate that we have this particular chicane in this layout, in the GP layout, instead of using the historic one. In my personal opinion, provides much better racing, but as you know, plenty of slipstream and dirty air in the middle sector, but I think for sure these drivers have always provided great racing this season and in the previous one too, so I expect another thrilling race here under the lights in this beautiful sunset in Catalonia. Not
to cause an argument here, but this is sunrise, so you might get the time of day up on screen. When I loaded into a session earlier on this week, I didn't realise if it was sunset or sunrise. I was kind of hoping it was sunset. It'd be pretty cool, but it will be getting slightly lighter and slightly warmer as the session goes on. You can see the session launched at about 7 in the morning on the 24th of April. This series following the real life dates as we progress through the weeks. We are currently progressing through qualifying, so 8 minutes for these drivers to set 2 lap times, and maybe not one of the most important qualifyings this season, Sandro, because whilst overtaking will be tricky, I think, not as tricky as it was at Alton Park, but certainly the second trickiest track to overtake around we've visited so far this season. But that long run down to turn 1, I'm looking for some fireworks, because it's wide down into turn 1, and it is a very long run, probably about 500 meters or so, or even 600 meters, I believe. So we could see drivers from the second row of the grid perhaps nipping the lead off the front runners.
Absolutely, it's very important to have a nice start, and the slipstream is going to for sure affect the drivers even before the first corner of the race. So we might see some drivers move up a few spots, especially in the midfield. I think we might see some big shufflings happen, as we are still on board with Kane Alibor doing his second lap. You see he is shifting from second to first and back to second in the exit. He's the class of the field so far this season, Sam, and for sure looking to get another pole position here in Spain.
Yeah, 4 wins so far for Halliburton, a second and a third as well. Just Aaron Barber, the only driver to have taken race wins so far this season. I don't believe Barber is around tonight, so you're going to be strong. But Kike Ming at the moment, 3/10 clear at his home race is Kike Ming. I don't think there's too much question. He's the best driver, the best radical driver who has not won a race so far in any of these broadcasted events. He always makes it very tricky for himself. Does Kike always qualifies badly or has a rubbish start, or just misses out on the win marginally? But maybe at his home race, that little bit of a bonus might help him along. Halliburton though wanting to take back provisional pole, and he does. It is a much faster second lap. That's the tyres coming up to temperature, and at the moment no one coming close, but Ming could do so. Olago onto the front row of the grid, but what can Ming do? It's good enough for third position, and he might just be a little bit disappointed with that after taking provisional pole after the first lap times. So yeah, the rest of these laps coming in now, and it's such a massive effect in this car, Sanjay, that difference between the first lap and the second lap, and the drivers can't warm up the tyres too much on the first lap. They can't do a bunch of burnouts, otherwise they'll get penalised by the iRacing system. So it's impossible to get the tyres up to temperature, and even by the end of the second lap they're still not up to temperature, so you really need 4 or 5 laps to get them into the operating window. So that's kind of the reason for the big boost there.
Absolutely. This is very important because you can, yes, make a mistake in the first lap, knowing that is not the fastest, but if you make a very small mistake in the second one, it's gonna cost you a lot of position, because look at the intervals between all the drivers. They are about 1/10 or even close. So this is absolutely amazing. We have only 4/10 4 drivers, but then look at everyone in the top 10, very, very close indeed. So qualifying is very important, but this is also very important for the start, because the first few laps are gonna be key to see who can not win the race and who instead can contend for the win.
Yes, yeah, that's going to be important to stay in the race, and of course on that first lap we got the cold tyres. So easy to have incidents, as Freckleton just moves up into 13th position there. Our producer, Mark Trenter, boasting how he's only 4/10 of a second slower than Halliburton. My best qualifying time, I think my best race time was like a high 39, but my best qualifying time was a low 1 minute 40, like a 40.1. I would be absolutely miles away from these jars. Really high quality build. And of course, we've got 24 jars as well tonight, which is a couple more than we usually do. Lower turnout, but we kind of maximise the split. I think it is like a maximum 24 jars per split. So that is pretty cool that we've got so many, as we're just into the final 10 seconds of this qualifying session. And we'll progress over to the grid. The balance of things, so it's going to be interesting between the big toe going into turn 10 and then also the pit straight. Do you think the toe will be enough to compensate for the turbulent air?
I think yes, there are a few straights where you can gain quite some time, but I think it's gonna be really hard, and I'm really eager to see. I haven't unfortunately had the chance to drive around here this week, but I think this particular track, especially with the last section, which is not very downforce dependent, you can be very close for making passes on the straight.
So here is the grid. Kane Halliburton at the top, then it's Manu Ray Olago, Kike Ming, Ivan Moore, 3 Iberians in second, third and fourth. Then it's Tommy Whitson's rounding out the top 5. Michael Reinhardt, Ludwig Stahl, Daniel Beauchamp, Giuseppe Jenna, and Dennis Kyrgiopoulos. Good qualifying there for Kyrgiopoulos, up in 10th place, and the rest of the order will cycle through on your screen. Because we've only got one more driver to get onto the grid, Ivan Moore. And we could potentially be sitting here for another minute or so if Ivan decides not to grid up until the last moment. All the top guys happy to get going immediately. It'll be 15 laps of this Barcelona circuit, and yeah, really watch out for those first couple of corners, or watch out for the run as well, because these cars are very tricky to get off the line. You need just a fraction of wheel spin in order to get the perfect acceleration. So now we have got more on the grid, and we are going to have the red lights illuminating this Barcelona circuit. And we're away for week 6 of the season. Albert's not with a terrific start. He'll be under pressure from Olaga down into turn 1. Got a fantastic start from the drivers on the second row of the grid, but it's all the same for the top 7. As Ming looking to the inside and going for a big move, but it's Olaga who takes the lead down into turn 1. Ming just getting a little bit held up there, and there's contact from Reinhardt in the background. And I'm sure there'll be a couple of other drivers as well with damage after that contact through turn 2. But Olaga with the perfect start at the moment, and in the top 5 is staying all same.
I think the incident happened around P5 or 6. I think we have some more drivers involved in accident. A car going wide, many cars going wide. Kelton might have been involved, Dixon, Beauchamp, Woodward, Christophe, all involved and at the back of the field.
Yeah, so a lot of drivers with problems so far in this race. Yeah, Freckleton, Reinhardt, Beauchamp, Woodward, Christophe and Dixon all having problems. So this is what happened to Reinhardt. Really good qualifying for Reinhardt in the race last night. Earlier on, he absolutely dominated. However, a little bit of net code, maybe was going in contact anyway for Reinhardt into the wall. No fast repair, and these cars are insanely fragile. In fact, if you just hit the curb, a sausage curb, that can be game over. It can cause a lot of strain damage. Then pretty wide into this one, lots of different braking areas, and there's a couple of incidents. The drivers piling in, and yeah, hits into the corner like that can easily cause a meatball as we cut back to the lead, and here's Olaga still leading the way, but a massive slide for Olaga. He manages to keep it in a straight line. That is absolutely miraculous, but after really working hard, we've got another sprint with Taylor. It's all the cold tyres at the moment, and that is a deceivingly tricky final corner. So it's Halliburton back to the lead. Ming is going to try to go into second place. He's going to try to go for the lead here. Halliburton turns out of the corner. There's barely a cigarette's width between the two of them, but it's Halliburton who just about stays ahead, and that's just a great example there of the cold tyres. That corner should be easy for that Sanjay, but they just lost the race.
Absolutely. Another big thing we haven't seen was Kyrgiopoulos dropped back in 16th place, as we have another car in the background going wide in another very treacherous corner in these opening laps. Let's see the replay of the driver from the Switzerland. Manages to save the car going ever so slightly on the grass, but valuable time loss and a lot of position lost, since everyone is still very, very close.
Yeah, and Kyrgiopoulos usually qualifies down in about 20th place. He's a terrific driver. Kyrgiopoulos not the best qualifier though. And for once, he got great qualifying and a great start. He was up in 7th place, and that is a shame for that to end, as Vico is overtaken by a couple of cars there. Was that Aldridge just absolutely approaches? It was Taylor just storming through right there. Now I got Ali. Yeah, they're all going wide. So he just slotted through, did Taylor. And now we're going side by side into the chicane, which is something you really don't want to do. Very clumsy in these cars, which really don't handle the slow speed corners too well. They're much better through the medium and high speed corners. As for the lead, it's getting fairly close, but they can't quite go for the lead. I'm looking forward to tonight, Alice, only because we've been to our fair share of slipstream circuits so far this season at Spa, Road Atlanta, and yeah, a couple of others as well. but tonight, yeah, as I think you alluded to earlier on, the tone might be slightly more powerful than the turbo air, but not much more, and it'll be a lot more of a traditional race where, you know, track position matters, but overtaking is possible. It should be a good balance.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we will see less mind games within the drivers. Everyone will try to make a spot, a position as soon as they can, because we want really to be in the lead anytime during the event. But at the same time, it's gonna be very difficult to make a pass, because this is a middle section. You can see the drivers pushing really, really hard and going wide, because this dirty air is affecting drivers a lot in this very fast corner.
Yeah, this is one of the absolute worst in the world for that, because we sit in the Formula 1 year after year, and it's just odd around this circuit, kind of how, you know, even on paper it shouldn't be that bad, but then you get to the races, you have to have drivers very spread out. Nothing like that tonight. This is lining up to be a very exciting race, even though, of course, we've had quite a few retirements already. All the drivers in the pits unlikely to get back out on track because there is no fast repair. Tyres starting to get up to temperature, the track warming up as well, and the fuel burning off means that these cars will just be going faster and faster as the race goes on. Everyone kind of got the draft off each other at the moment in that big pack behind Taylor, outside the top 10. But here is Egg Hanoi doing very well. I mean, we have got a slightly lower strength of field for tonight. I think 3.1k compared to about the 3.6k I think we usually have on average. Just because, 3.7 in fact, so it's actually fairly average for the drivers, but they're not doing particularly well. Some of our regulars are punching above where they usually are. He's got John Alchich very close behind.
Yeah, we see as every week some little packs forming. Even here, we have the top 3 drivers pulling away. Alberto Mingo Largo now opened a gap of 1.3 seconds from Moore, so if he's not fast enough, he might lose the draft, which is generally around 1.8 seconds. We can see the difference compared to the other weeks. We can see the top 3 having much more pace, and the other drivers that usually manage to hang on thanks to the draft, struggling a little bit to keep up with the top 3. Plus, usually Erling Baba, who unfortunately is not here today, that seems always to have a little bit of speed more compared to the other drivers.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Those top 3 are kind of class of the field and more, not much slower, maybe quarters of a second slower, but yeah, just not enough to stay close. Good news for Moore, I guess, is that he'll still be picking up a bit of that drop, but he wouldn't be having any of the turbulent air, I imagine, as Christos, after his drop problems earlier on, is the car number 4, is Andrea, but a regular in, at least in this broadcast, I don't believe in this Radical Racing Challenge either. But he's doing well considering the damage on that car just behind him as well. Woodward, you also had a problem earlier on, just came past the valley. If you could just ride on board with Christoph for a second, because in my race earlier on, I actually did very bad because I hit the sausage cut on the final chicane and it absolutely broke the steering. That's got a lot more visual damage than what I had, but that steering looks like it is tracking straight, so that will be a relief for the attack. Absolutely.
Unfortunately, Christoph was involved in the wreck in lap 1. He actually got it right from Robert Woodward. Slightly different braking points in the opening lap with cold tires. It can happen really often as Christoph makes a small mistake and Woodward gets the position, P17 for the driver from the UK. He starts struggling, I think, with his damage, for sure, but he will keep on driving and going, because you never know, there might be some drama, some issues for drivers in front in the next 10 laps, and iRating is always very important for this driver.
Yes, certainly. It's Aldridge just having a look there. And also Suarez now going for the move on Taylor, and this one has been lining up for a while. Oh, there's a tap behind from Vico. Oh, well, that may have been some lag contact as well. It was just a tiny tap. And Alexis Tapio Vico doesn't have any damage from that one. Very slow on the inside was Taylor. And yeah, just sent him around in the end. As also Woodward and Valley actually trying to come back now at these drives after being passed on the last lap. But yeah, it's now Suarez at the front of that kind of group just outside the top 10.
Something else we need to touch on is the fact that Halliburton is opening a slight gap in the lead of the race. Almost a second, steady, almost over a second on Kikeming in the last lap. So this might be very, very important to keep an eye on. 4/10 is the gap, as you can see from the bottom. Lap 5. So Halliburton trying to break the draft to run away and have a easier second part of the race, but Ming comes back and gains almost 2/10 back this time by maybe a slight mistake by the Spanish driver, but at least now they only are 3 in the lead, so they will have to worry less about the other drivers. Moore lost the draft completely and dropped back quite much, since now he's well above 3 seconds.
Here we go again with Gustav. He's going to have to make this move on Valley for the second time. I keep on thinking it's Steve Lavelli, the legendary XBR driver. But it's not, it's just Valley. So apologies if I ever get that one wrong. The Frenchman, by number 24, the final seed. It's the seed number 24. Seed number 4. It really does seem like yeah, that damage is affecting Bristow quite a bit at the moment. But cut back through turn 5, the turn 6, which doesn't really exist, and then into 7 and 8. Can pull off the overtake, and that is contact. And surprisingly, it's actually Rally who's lost out from that one. Taylor manages to make up a couple of the positions he lost earlier on. And it's yeah, all changed. Shame for Rally. Just kept his nose in there, but around a chicane like that, that's a risky business.
Yeah, drivers were not happy with each other. In voice chat was some complaining about the maneuver, but unfortunately, when you don't pull out of these very tricky situations, sometimes it can end for the worse. This is a very treacherous corner. Already on your own, you might really struggle sometimes to make it without any trouble, as Erika Noy makes the pass on Leon for 8th place. So now he'll be trying to catch back to Giuseppe Genna, the driver from, I think, Switzerland. Usually Italian names from DATC, so in German countries, a very familiar name though for Italians.
So why is it so familiar?
Because you know that usually we have plenty of Italians abroad, but especially we have in Switzerland this Italian region. Usually when you find Italian drivers with Italian names, they're from this German division, from this club, usually are from Switzerland. So we have Ticino in Italian, which is an Italian-speaking region in Switzerland. Have you ever written something about?
Maybe just a slight excursion here. He has pulled away, so is he just pushing? Yeah, you can just see he was just beyond the white line. I don't think he'll pick up a 1x for that, but our system picks it up. Our system kind of defines the track as the white lines. I mean, shock horror, imagine that. So there's we'll get different off tracks, but no worries. Or Halliburton right there, so some unusual off tracks. You can't really pick up an off track unless you hit the grabber out there, which is pretty good. It means that you can use all that green stuff on the outside without penalty. Leon and Aldridge. Aldridge just about getting past him. Leon after taking fairly comfortable in 8th place, being caught and being passed a couple of times. But he's sort of punching above his weight there, the 18th seed. Jenna up there in 7th place. Really, those seedings pretty much representing absolutely nothing. It's absolutely crazy all the way down the order, apart from the top 3, of course, the top 3 seeds on the grid as Rico and Suarez are close. These two have never really separated from one another. Rico just can't quite stay close enough with that final chicane to go for a move into the hairpin. He did gain by about a 10th of a second on that last lap.
Yeah, Rico, one of the biggest movers of the race. He started all the way in 19th place and now moved up in 12th, as you can see from our time in tower. Suarez in front of him moved up 10 places as Tukka Koskinen from Finland, 23rd seed in the race, but now up in 13th place, so very good start from them. Unfortunately, you can see some riders up front in plenty of position after the first few wrecks in lap 1 as Suarez goes above that yellow social curve and doesn't get enough power down, and Vico now has the chance to make the pass for 11th place. Easy pass on the inside and be cleared of Suarez entering turn 1.
It's waits a while for that one, but it's eventually come there. Good to see a finish drive as well, and also I'm liking that livery. I think that's a Jaguar tribute livery. If only Peter Mackay was here, unless you know your Group C. Sandro, I recognise that livery, but I'm
yeah, indeed.
Sure.
It's quite familiar. I'm not really up to date with racing history, but I definitely know this color from the Group C Jaguar, one of the most beautiful cars I can definitely recall in prototype racing, and I'm really glad to see also these beautiful colors on the grid. As you know, I'm a fan of these violet, pinkish, magenta colors on the
Absolutely. Yeah, you can see a bit with a bit more magenta on the grid. By the way, shout out to one of our sponsors for this broadcast, SDK Gaming. We provide our overlay, which you can see up on screen. The time tower really is absolutely essential for your viewing. I'm sure you're very grateful that we've got it up on screen, and then of course we've got the battle box in the bottom corner, and there's 101 different features. You had the time distance we had earlier on. You can have the track map as well. Pretty much everything you can ever think of is provided by SDK Gaming, and you can make this look however you want as well. If you just change the background code, change a few lines of it, you can radically change the look of the overlay. So SDK Gaming, absolutely the best software for live timing and as an overlay on all of our iRacing. Do check them out at sdk-gaming.co.uk in order to download the software. And of course, big thanks to them for helping us out on Apex Racing too, because it's not do any of our broadcasting without SDK Gaming's help. Kyrikopoulos is doing pretty well in this comeback at the moment. He's got Freckleton just behind. Freckleton with a bit of rear wing damage. Yeah, slightly lopsided, but that won't be too bad for him. He's 3, not too far behind the next round, as Leon has just got past Aldridge as we see a puff of smoke, and that is Aldridge making a mistake now. I wonder, but it looks as though it was by himself because he's still got no damage.
Yeah, that looks like a self-spin. He was clear of everyone, so he might have gone a bit into deep entering this very difficult corner. He clipped the curb and just went around. A weird spin, but thankfully the car is still in one piece. He lost a few places, but there are still 4 more laps to recover, and Suarez and Vico are right in front of him. Might have a chance to come back into the top 10.
That's a lovely spin, lovely 360, and it's kind of brought this entire group together because there was a little bit of a divide between the two of them, and now it's all just one big pack. Is that much more tricky now for Freckleton to make the move on Kyrikopoulos, but he's having a look anyway. Not a big braking area into turn 1. It's one of the big problems when it comes to taking around this circuit. We've got that really long straight, and then once you don't have the hairpin at the end of it. However, Focusrite does get it done the turn 3. We'll go slightly off topic, but did you see the Miami street circuit outside, Joe? And if you did, what did you think of it?
Well, it's definitely the typical street circuit that we've been seeing lately from F1. Long straights, long fast corners. It's gonna be quite interesting to see how the cars will drive there in a pack. I feel like it's gonna be very, very hard to see some passes, but with DRS and PR teams, for sure there will be some corners where you can really make a move. Unfortunately, F1 is shifting towards these tracks instead of the beautiful tracks we have in the US, like what is Glen or other tracks like in America, where I think the drivers have more challenge, but unfortunately, you know where we are going because of the way we are living in right now. So it's a very beautiful venue for sure, but I'd rather see F1 going to more challenging and historic circuit than Miami road course.
I think so. Something's just happened to Leon. He's just dropped down in new places. But no, don't hold your breath for it to be added to iRacing anytime soon. I think we'll be, I think iRacing will be tackling that one anytime soon. But yeah, give us a race at Road America, please. That would be absolutely wonderful. As Leon there just hitting the curve. You see how tall they are. It's also so they hit up the wall and then almost spinning again there, Leon. I don't think he's got any damage from that. Although frankly, I genuinely wouldn't be surprised again. They've cut so big on that part of the circuit that it can really damage the steering. And watch out as well for the tyres just in these closed stages. We've only got 2 more laps to go after Spa last week. This race feels particularly short. But yeah, just about 25 minutes long is this one. But yeah, watch out for the tyres in the closing stages because they do wear out fairly quick around this circuit as, yeah, that is going wide there for Vico. He's worked so hard for that 9th place, he's quickly let it up. However, he's coming back against Aldridge, wide though, and Vico might be back up into 9th position. He goes from 9th to 10th to 11th to 10th to 9th. Absolutely craziness there, and Aldridge manages to move up into 10th, so just a mistake there from Suarez, who just bottled it once he got the track position, but now he's wide, and this is going to be very tight with this pack of cars at the end of the straight out, Sancho.
Absolutely, too wide through this section. He's not very smart as Aldridge almost Vico on the outside and Suarez on the inside, almost losing the car, but now with the switching from Aldridge, he will be able to clear him before turn 1. He does not, and Aldridge come back on the inside, side by side to this corner. We have seen already multiple contacts around here, drivers very, very careful, still side by side to the long right hander. This is an amazing section, where to pass. That was super close, the 21 car of Suarez! This is absolutely a control. This is, I don't know about you, Sam, but I think that was intentional.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a shame to see, and come on, like it's a tiny tap. And then he goes and doesn't even fit for the corner. That is absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, hopefully we see a ban for that one. My goodness, come on. It's not even it's a tap. It's an absolute tap. There you go. And then he's going to have to go to a clinic after this one.
Tempers flaring here at Barcelona. Pablo Suarez not happy.
No. Well, anyway, we'll move on to the good racing, because we got on the last lap. There is Halliburton, and he's kind of under the radar. We haven't talked about it too much. Opening up that gap, he has just had the edge on those edges, as he has done at all the races so far this season. Of course, Alton Parky made a mistake which let up the lead. Spa, he was leading with a corner to go. He could genuinely be going here for his 6th race win of the season. He's lost a couple, but still, he is really putting a stranglehold on this championship at the moment. And yeah, looking like he's going to get another few points. Jenna holding back Hanoi is also very tasty for Freckleton and Rico. Freckleton's doing very well. He's been able to move up the order. He's now 4 places up from the start. Rico had a terrific start, so he's up 9. But really, it's been Freckleton after not a great start, who is the one who's made the most amount of overtakes. He's now having to go defensive, but so far, whoever's been in 9th place hasn't been able to stay in 9th place for very long. Copplers as well coming with these guys, and Koskinen as well. But here is the race leader, Kane Halliburton. He has made this one look easy as anything. He took pole position by 10th, and once he got the lead back from Manu Reolage, there was no looking back. And it's going to be a 4th race win of the season for Kane Halliburton. He wins for Racecraft Esports at Barcelona. Kike Ming finishing in 2nd place once again, and Manu Reolage will be kicking himself for that mistake at the end of the first lap, which perhaps denied him a good shot at the race win. The other drivers now coming across. Freckleton is going to beat Rico, although it was closing in near the end. In fact, they're still going here. Freckleton is a decently long run down, but Freckleton will have enough to hold on by about 1/10 of a second. Koppers and Koskinen behind as well, and the rest of the drivers will cross the line about a quarter of the order, retiring in the end with the various incidents that we saw. Well, Sandra, I'm not going to lie, it wasn't the most entertaining race we've seen this season for the front, at least, with Halliburton being able to put the brake on, but I think that kind of shows just how good Halliburton is in this car, because like I've said a couple of times, we've been to so many slipstream circuits that really pace hasn't been that essential so far this season, but finally we go to a circuit like this and Halliburton can really show the edge they have on the rest of the field.
Absolutely. We've been in a lot of slipstream circuits, and to be fair, might have been not the best entertaining race of the season, but at least was something different from what we have been used in the last few weeks, and we still have some interesting moments, not gonna lie, in this race. So Halliburton definitely showing why he's winning so much every week and week out. But I'm really looking forward to see if throughout this season we might find someone able to establish themselves as a serious opponent of Kane, because yes, the guys are really fighting hard to keep him behind, but ultimately he's usually the one coming up in the end as a winner. So I'm looking forward to seeing in the next few weeks if we can find someone else being able to get that win out of Halliburton.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll have Aaron Barber back next week, and with I think it's Le Mans next week, so really anyone's game for that round. But this round it went to Kane Halliburton. You can see 2.3 seconds clear of Kike Ming, just had that couple of tenths every lap and was able to build up a gap in the end. Manu Reolage finishing in 3rd place, but what could have been if he hadn't have made that mistake at the end of the first lap when he pulled a little bit of a gap as well, but I guess we'll never know. Ivan Moore was in a quiet 4th place, beating Tommy Wittens. Apologies, didn't really show either of them for the whole race, but they did well, so too did Ludwig Stahl. Giuseppe Jenner managed to beat Eric Hanoi. Dylan Freckleton was the top of a mighty battle. Just outside the top places. Alexei Rico finishes in 10th place. Then it was Dennis Kyrgiopoulos, Tuukka Koskinen, Gonzalo Leon, Robert Woodward, Daniel Beauchamp, Tay Taylor, Pablo Suarez, Mateus Valley, John Aldridge, Andrew Dixon, Stephen Place, Michael Reinhardt, Andrea Bristol, and Carter Kundisha rounding out the order. Like I've said a couple of times, lots of incidents out there. Lots of damage easily being attained. Another shout out to another one of our sponsors, Apex Racing Academy, who provide 29 data packs. I mean, if you're looking to like improve on iRacing, if you're wanting to get a bit more performance out of yourself, then Apex Racing Academy is the place to go, because you can just download the terrific setups that they have on there, designed by some of the best drivers in iRacing, you know, world championship level drivers, and really some of the best drivers in each of the cars. You know, I've been taking up the IndyCar recently, and there's some absolutely terrific setups and track guides, and of course coaching sessions as well, for you to improve your performance in various cars. If you go to Apex Racing AC.com, you can get yourself a subscription just for one car at just £5 a month, or for all the cars, all 29 data packs for £10 a month. And if you also have VRS, then it is integrated with VRS, so you can use both of those platforms simultaneously, with all your setups being well organized and all of that stuff all set up for you. So do check out Apex Racing AC.com to get a subscription. Interviews with drivers, and we are going to have an interview, and it's the Joe who I wanted to have an interview with, because it is Manu Olage finishing in third position. Manu, congratulations out there. It's another good result, but what could have been if it weren't for that first lap incident? I mean, talk us through the half spin you had.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. I don't know what would happen, because I was focused on putting distance with Kanye and Kick, but I knew that there were some points and that curves that it's gonna be slippery on the first laps, and I forgot that, and I made a little spin, but I could stay with the top three. But Kanye, I don't know what kind of engine he has, but man, it's out of this planet.
Yeah, he just had the edge, didn't he? I mean, what was the balance between the turbulent air and the slipstream? Do you think it was an advantage to be behind someone? Did that make you go faster, or were you kind of struggling to keep up with the driver ahead, even if your pace was even?
Yeah, in a kind of curves, you have less drag, so you have to lift a little bit more, and you catch the guy in front in the straight, but I think it's 50-50. You don't take advantage like in Road Atlanta, you don't have that straight. You have a little bit 2-3 tenths, but you lose in the turns, in turn 3. But yeah, I think it was a 50-50.
And is it a kind of something that you look forward to racing around this circuit whenever you visit it? Of course, being from this region, we don't have enough Iberian circuits on iRacing, so is this one that you particularly enjoy?
Yes, I enjoyed it. I had the pleasure to be at this track on a race that we had, the 24 hours virtual on the track, and it's beautiful, and with this car is more beautiful. So yeah, it's good fun to race here.
Definitely. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Manu. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, like always, to you guys and to my team. If you let me say something to my teammates from Modus Motorsport, Papos, guys. Papos. Let's go.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Manny, and yeah, good luck on getting that race win next time out.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, guys.
Manu Olage finishing third position tonight. Alessandro, I think we've got another interview lined up.
Indeed, we have time to speak also with Eric Hanoi with a very good race. Started in 11th place and made up a few positions, finishing 8th today, a solid result. And I think, Eric, you should be very happy about it, because in the last few weeks you've been improving your results week in and week out, and you're showing the speed you've been always been known for, also in the previous seasons.
Well, I don't know if I've been known for fast speed, but yeah.
You are, come on.
Okay, I really like this track because the draft is not that significant as at Spa and next week at Le Mans. So here it's more driver to driver, and I managed to stay out of trouble on the first lap. I think it's turn 4. I was just sensing that this was going to be carnage, so I just went all the way to the left, and yes, 3 or 4 cars smashed. So, and after that, I got Aldrich behind me, and I know he's a fair driver. We had a few fights earlier this week, so I knew that he wouldn't hit me, and then it was just to try to push.
Absolutely. A very nice fight in the midfield all race long, and another racetrack here, Catalonia, where you had the chance to have some great fights all throughout the week, because this racetrack, it's difficult to pass, but especially with this car, you have 50-50, as Manu said earlier, between Slipstream and Aero Push and Dirty Air, so it's a very fun track in my opinion here.
Yeah, it's absolutely one of my favorite tracks on iRacing. It's amazing, and I've been doing 20 races this week, and I've been on the podium in all of them. Of course, the strength of field is not that high as this, but people drive fair for the most, and you get the man-to-man fight. You know, it's not about the draft; it's about the exit of the turns, and I just love this track.
Absolutely, and I want also to give Eric a shout out, because he is the one taking care of the broadcast race points every week, and in and out. He keeps us to date with the points of that standing that unfortunately is pretty much a one-man standing, because Kane also there is dominating every week, so there's nothing much we can do about it, Eric, right?
Kane Halliburton, he is our Lewis Hamilton, you know. No reason, so you can't compete with that guy. He's so fast, and also Kite Ming and Erin Baba, who wasn't participating this week. It's such a great drivers. They're really talented. So I have nothing but respect for them.
Absolutely. Anyone you would like to thank, Eric, before we let you go?
Yeah, my wife, who's letting me drive late night Friday. It's 11 o'clock when we start in Norway, so thank you to my wife.
Absolutely. Ladies are always very important. If they don't agree you to be on the rig, then you can't race for sure.
That's how it is.
Thanks, Eric, for coming by, and I wish you a good week.
Thank you.
I think, Sam, we have time still for a quick interview. Right?
We do. By the way, just our final shout out, because we've got a few different sponsors for this, and another one is Virtual Racing School. I've already mentioned them because Virtual Racing School is integrated with Apex Racing Academy. But on Virtual Racing School, you can get over 50 data packs on road and oval racing. And yeah, these include setups, track guides, data analysis software as well. So yeah, do check out Virtual Racing School as well. I've got some terrific coaches over there. And yeah, if you get yourself a subscription for Apex Racing Academy and Virtual Racing School, you've pretty much got everything covered. And it's all in one place for you to download all your setups and your track guides and all that. So, but yeah, big thanks to Virtual Racing School for their help. And yeah, we are now going to have a chat with Tommy Vittens, who joins us now. Now, Tommy, I'm going to apologise here, because you might watch back at the broadcast and feel a bit shortchanged, because we didn't show a whole lot of yourself, because it was just a really stable drive. Started 5th, finished 5th. But how was it from your perspective? I mean, were you trying to chase down Ivan, or were you trying to run away from Ludwig?
It was kind of a boring race for me, to be honest. I was chasing Ivan indeed, and I saw him make one mistake coming onto the main straight. Tried to get in the slipstream, but overtaking on this track is so difficult. So I just managed to follow him and could build up a gap from Ludwig. So yeah, that's probably mostly it for this race. Not really much I could do.
How did you find the handling in this car this week? Because when I was racing, I was really struggling kind of the rear end, kind of getting the traction down around some of the high speed corners. I mean, did you face any struggles this week driving the car?
Yeah, it is quite difficult. In the first part of the week, I was taking the corners a bit different than I did today. Just trying to search different lines, and yeah, came up quite on pace. But yeah, to the top guys, it's just 0 to none with my pace. But yeah, it feels okay-ish. But it's hard. It's difficult on this track.
Yeah, and it could be tricky as well next week because we're heading to Le Mans. That is probably up with Monza as the most kind of drafty circuit we visit. Yeah, is that one you're looking forward to? And when was the last time you raced around that circuit in this car?
Ooh, I never raced in the Radical on Le Mans, but I love the track. Yeah, let's see what happens. It's gonna be a slipstream fest again, so yeah, it's anyone's race, really. So hopefully everyone's keeps it nose forward, and yeah, let's see. Gonna be interesting.
It's going to be a fun one for us to call up here in the commentary box. Hopefully it's fun for you racing as well. Tommy, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, to you guys for doing this every week. I really enjoy it. And to my buddy Aaron Baba, who unfortunately couldn't race today. Yeah, it's a position for me, so next week, yeah, he's gonna be in it again. So, and also team Twisted Racing. And yeah, that's it.
Great. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Tommy. And yeah, best of luck to getting a good result at Le Mans. Okay,
thanks, boys.
Tommy Wittens there, finishing in 5th position. It was good to hear with that we didn't miss too much with Tommy, because I swear we did not see him on circuit for that entire race. I think because yeah, he was just there in 5th place. You know, he was second behind Ivan, a couple of seconds ahead of Stahl. It was all quite standard for him. So yeah, of course, next week, our Sanjay, Le Mans. We've also got Road America after that. We're properly returning back to the slipstream circuit. So hopefully everyone enjoyed this week before we get into the more draft fest circuits once again. But Le Mans tricky, personally, I feel, because whilst at Monza, you know, you got the long straights and then you got a slow chicane. Most of the time it's not that bad. With Le Mans, you got the opening S's, then you got the Porsche curves as well near the end of the lap. When you're running as little drag as these guys will be doing, this car will become quite a handful through those high-speed corners. So it's not just a draft circuit. I think it's one of the most tricky draft circuits that I think we visit on all of iRacing.
Absolutely, it's gonna be interesting. But Sam, to be fair, if you only as commentator could also have drop weeks, for me Le Mans would be one, because it's a track that I absolutely despise. I don't really like Le Mans, and I don't really see why we are going to Le Mans with so many cars. But definitely it's gonna be a very interesting racetrack, especially with this car, where it's gonna be super pack race. Since the slipstream is so strong, we will have plenty of lead changes, and it's gonna be super interesting, as long as the drivers will race with respect, because being 2 wide, 3 wide probably also on the straights on a road circuit is gonna be very difficult, and those chicanes are very treacherous with low downforce setup. So it's gonna require plenty of skill and plenty of head driving with your mind focus on what is in front, what is behind, and a bit of mind games too, I guess, because slipstreams always provide a lot of tactical gains for the drivers.
Yeah, he's going to be able to figure that one out. It's all certainly going to come down to the Porsche curves in the last lap, which is what we want to see, obviously, in order to get a good race. So yeah, that is going to be not one to miss. And then of course we go to Road America the week after, Okayama, Silverstone, Suzuka, and the Nordschleife to round out the season. So some absolute classic venues, as this entire calendar has been some real high participation circuits. And it's been rewarded because so many drivers are taking part in the Radical Racing Challenge. And of course, if you haven't already, you should check it out as well. The Radical is one of the best cars in iRacing. Fixed setup, so you know, even if you're not familiar with the car, just jump in. You'll get the hang of the handling within maybe a week or so if you do a fair amount of racing, and then you're up to speed. And with the amount of slipstream circuits you go to, even if you're not absolutely fastest out there, you can still mix it with some of the top guys as long as you're clean and consistent. So do check out the Radical Racing Challenge on iRacing. Go sign up for a practice and then a race, and see what all the fuss is about. Big thanks of course to our sponsors at SDK Gaming, at Apex Racing Academy, and at Virtual Racing School. We are going to see you back at Le Mans then for next week. Also make sure to check out our social media at Instagram, Facebook and Twitter as well. But for now, for myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, from Alessandro Dalladone and from Mark Chancer, it is a 4th race win of the season for Kane Halliburton. See you in the French countryside next week. See you then.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong,
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series,
and many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.